Alright, we're here in my outdoor worm bin, and the last feeding we had was absolutely huge. We want to check on it. I think we had some mushrooms in there, and we also put in some baby bananas from my banana plant that got frozen in the last freeze we had. We also want to try to look for that Luffa, where we kind of broke it apart and it looked like shredded wheat. It was teeming with worms. And then finally, I'm going to feed them one of my own recipes for my version of a veggie burger. So let's go ahead and get in here. And right away, I'm kind of feeling the top of some of the avocados that we put in here, the avocado shells. So let's look in right away. There you go. Something with avocados, they just create worm balls, and they are right here. In fact, I think here's another. We have like a double avocado shell, and sure enough, worms galore. Look at that. Just absolutely teeming with worms. I don't know what it is, but even after they get the flesh out, the worms seem to enjoy being inside. This one looks like it has some flesh, and this one looks like the flesh is completely eaten out of it, and there's a few mites on it. So let's go ahead and put that over here and keep digging through. Over here, another avocado shell, and I'm willing to bet another worm ball. Sure enough, check it out. I love it. And mixed in with that was a piece of apple. So they're doing a fairly good job of getting into the food. Let's go ahead and see what else we have in here. This is a pit, which is still pretty hard. Now, it was a pretty sizable feeding, and look at that, avocado shell within avocado shell. Let's see again. Again, worm ball, apple, piece. Yep, there we go. Lots of worms. Pretty neato. We'll keep digging in the center here where most of that food was. And we also put some of those mango seeds on top. And look at that. I think what I'm holding right here is what is left of the loofah. I think it pretty much disintegrated. And they are kind of all in and out of it. But that, my friends, is the loofah. So I don't think we're going to be finding too much of it. And that loofah started as a sponge about a year ago in our kitchen. And then I put it in there a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. And then here's a mango seed. Right here is the cotyledon, which is kind of the, what you think of as the seed leaf part. And inside of it looks like a solitary worm enjoying a snack all to himself. This is the very highly nutritious portion of the seed, and that worm is definitely enjoying it. All right, let's keep digging into this massive feeding. We'll have to kind of figure out how much we want to feed after this, because there's still some food in here. Although it's the slow to break down food like this avocado pit and this avocado shell, which, sure enough, another worm ball inside of it. And then this right here is the peel of, I think, probably a tomato. It's almost iridescent. They just get every little scrap out of it and then leave the peel behind. So cool. Really good showing as far as worms go in this bin, and the temperature has been getting a little warmer every day. I think we're in the 90s today Fahrenheit, which is about 32.2 Celsius. Another avocado shell. We've been going through avocados. They're kind of in season, so we're eating a lot of them. So you'll see a lot of those in my worm bin. We also gave this feeding a portion of oats, and I think it's the last of the breading. So there's just a lot of food in here for them to eat. And I don't see any signs of those oats or anything. And then more mango seeds all over. So just a lot of slow foods for them to continue to munch on, even though it's been 8 days since we were in here last. Typically I'm about 6 to 7 days. Here's that banana that we found last time, and it looks like they've eaten all the way down to the stem, and even the stem itself is kind of hollowed. I can feel inside it's just kind of the fibers. All right, a little bit more digging around here. And this bedding, we put a lot of bedding in here, and they are kind of mixing it around and attacking it, so that's good. So let's just kind of go to the edges and mix from the outside in. And wow, you can see throughout, there's still just lots of worms, even on the outside. They're really doing a good job of making castings all throughout here. Look at that, just teeming with worms. So let me kind of aerate the rest of the bin, and then we'll set up the feeding zone. You know, before we keep digging around here, let me check and see if the banana, the baby banana, is here, or possibly the mushrooms. And I think this right here is one of the baby bananas. Kind of pulled apart. Oh wow, look. They've somehow gotten inside of it, and I think inside of here is just a nest of worms. Oh wow, look at that. That is cool. So these worms have found the promised land inside of a baby banana, and I have absolutely opened it up and disturbed them. Here's the other half of that baby banana. So I think we put 4 in here. Let me see if I can, yep, sure enough, I just didn't know that I had them. And I bet the same thing with these. Yep, look at that. Man, if you were kind of excavating, you would think that baby bananas were made out of worms, because they are all inside here. That is so cool. Awesome. Okay, if I find the last one, the last 2, I'm not gonna disturb it, but look at that. That is incredible. Wow, we're learning all kinds of neat places these worms like to hide. All right, let me go ahead and aerate the rest out. All right, I think this may call for a time lapse, so I'm just gonna sit here for a second and do a time lapse of these 3 avocado shells worth of worms. All right, so I think that's about as far as we need to let those go, but we're gonna kind of make some space here and set up our feeding zone for our veggie burger. And I'll go ahead and we're just gonna kind of put these on the bottom of what we're gonna do here with our little bit of shenanigans. Place these all around, and then I really need to make some space, because you'll see that this is going to be not just one veggie burger, but multiple veggie burgers. So let me get some shredded cardboard to put down here, and we'll be ready to go. There we go. I'll add some of this for the bottom layer. And then unfortunately what we have here is some hamburger buns that you can see are really moldy and got away from us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bottom layer of the hamburger buns down, and then we're going to put the food scraps, and then we're going to put the top layer. So first I'll dump them out, and then let's start separating the tops from the bottom. And when I do this, we'll try and make sure that we don't get into these mold spores in our noses here. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to lay down the bottoms right there. And I've done past experiments where I've put down breads, that kind of thing, and pasta, so I know they're going to really enjoy this. And then let's go ahead and lay down the food scraps. So here's what I had in mind. I was going to dump the whole thing in, but I think since they have some more of the slow foods, we'll just kind of take what we want out of here. So we'll put like this tomato and banana over the top here. A little bit of celery, onion. Anybody like onion on their burgers? Some apples, more banana. This should be interesting in a couple feedings or in a few days. Some strawberries, tangerine peels, more apple, and then just a lot of garden scraps. And I think that should be enough. So let's go ahead and put the tops of the burgers on. And I think everything is covered there. So there we go. That is a worm veggie burger. So instead of sesame seeds on the top of these burgers, they're going to get some pulverized oats, as well as some coffee. Oh man, what a burger. And then we'll top it off with some grit, which is just pulverized eggshells, and aids in their digestion as they ingest the food and kind of grind it up. So there you have it. There are the finished veggie burgers. And if you like this video and the different experiments I do with this bin, go ahead and hit the like button. I really appreciate it. Oh, look at that. The worms will be able to go right on top of that stuff. And consider subscribing. I've got 2 other bins that I do different experiments in, and I feed them about once a week. So get about 3 to 4 videos a week. So I think that will cover it all up. And this is going to be a very interesting feeding when we check up on it. And maybe we'll even take some castings out before we check on it again. So I hope everybody's having a great day, and happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.